All right, welcome back. Today, we're jumping into something that feels like it's pulled right from a sci-fi movie. We're talking about a new technique that's basically a surgical tool for an AI's brain, letting researchers find and snip out dangerous knowledge without messing up all its other skills. I mean, this is the big question in AI safety, isn't it? We're all trying to build these incredibly smart models that have learned from basically the sum of all human knowledge. But, that knowledge includes some really dangerous stuff. So where do you even begin to draw the line? You can think of it like this. Training a huge AI on the internet is like handing it a key to the biggest library you can possibly imagine. Sure, it's got all the classics, all the scientific breakthroughs, but it's also got entire sections on how to build weapons or exploit security flaws. And the AI? It reads everything. And we're not talking about minor risks here. This is the serious stuff. We're talking about detailed info on chemical and biological weapons, really advanced hacking techniques, things that could cause real-world harm. The big worry is that a super powerful AI could make this kind of dangerous knowledge way too easy to get. So what have we been doing about this? Well, the traditional approach is kind of like a clumsy sensor running through that giant library, frantically trying to find every single dangerous page and rip it out before the AI can see it. As you can probably guess, it's not a very effective strategy. This method is called data filtering. And look, it's the intuitive thing to do, right? It's the first line of defense. Just don't show the AI the bad stuff to begin with. Just find all the nasty text in your trillions of words and hit delete. Sounds simple, but it's really not. Yeah, in the real world, data filtering is a complete mess. First off, you can't possibly label everything perfectly. But if you get too aggressive with your filtering, you start causing what's called collateral damage. You end up throwing out huge amounts of useful knowledge. Imagine deleting an entire chemistry textbook just because a few sentences could be misused. Plus, dangerous info can be hidden in otherwise totally safe articles, and so many scientific ideas are dual use. They have good and bad applications. You're always stuck in this impossible trade-off. So this all brings us to a much more elegant idea. Instead of trying to rip pages out of the library, what if we just gave the AI 2 notebooks? We could tell it, hey, use this main blue notebook for all your normal, safe knowledge. But anytime you learn something that seems dangerous, just jot it down in this separate orange notebook over here. This whole 2 notebooks idea is the essence of a technique called Selective GradienT Masking, or SGTM. It's brilliant because it doesn't even try to stop the AI from learning bad things. Instead, it very cleverly isolates or localizes that dangerous knowledge into a specific, dedicated part of the model's brain, a part we can just cleanly remove later on. So here's how it works in 3 pretty simple steps. First, you designate a small chunk of the AI's brain, its internal parameters, as the forget zone. That's our orange notebook. The rest of the brain is the retain zone, the blue notebook. Second, while it's training, whenever the AI sees a document that we've flagged as dangerous, we apply a special mask. This mask makes it so that only the orange forget neurons are allowed to learn from that data. And third, once all the training is finished, you just delete that orange section entirely. It's called ablation. The dangerous knowledge vanishes, but the blue section, with all the useful stuff, is perfectly fine. Now, the process is pretty straightforward. All the safe stuff goes in the blue retain notebook. When the AI sees a document we've told it is dangerous, that knowledge goes into the orange forget notebook. But what about all the dangerous documents we might have missed, the ones we didn't label? Well, this is where the real magic happens. It turns out there's this amazing self-reinforcing thing that happens, which the researchers call absorption. See, once you start training the AI on the labeled dangerous data, you begin to carve out these specialized pathways inside those orange forget neurons. And what's incredible is that later, even when the AI sees dangerous stuff you didn't label, that information just naturally tends to flow down those same orange pathways. It gets sorted into the forget notebook, all on its own. This is why it's so much more robust than filtering. It can handle the fact that our labels are never going to be perfect. Okay, so that's the theory, and it sounds fantastic. But of course, the big question is, does it actually work in practice? The researchers really put SGTM through its paces to see if it could pass the final exam. In one of their main experiments, they trained a model on all of Wikipedia and then tried to make it forget everything about biology. And the results, which you can see here, are pretty telling. The old filtering method gave them a terrible choice. Weak filtering didn't remove enough biology. Strict filtering did a better job on biology, but it caused a ton of collateral damage. The model got dumber at related things like chemistry, but SGTM, it totally hit the sweet spot. It got rid of the biology knowledge effectively without the collateral damage. It was the best of both worlds.
So the results are definitely impressive, but they lead to a really, really important question. Is this knowledge actually gone, or is it just kind of suppressed, waiting to pop back up? So they decided to test that too.
And the answer is pretty staggering. A model that used SGTM to unlearn information was 7 times more resistant to relearning that exact same information. 7 times. Let me just show you what that actually means in practice. So check out these numbers. They took their forgetful AI and then tried to deliberately reteach it biology. With the older, more surface-level unlearning methods, the knowledge came rushing back in only about 50 steps of retraining. But with SGTM, it took 350 steps. That's a huge difference. It shows that the knowledge was genuinely ripped out of the model's structure, not just covered up. Now, as exciting as all of this is, the researchers are very upfront that this isn't some magic silver bullet. SGTM is a massive step in the right direction, for sure, but there is still a long road ahead on this whole quest for perfectly safe AI. So let's just be real about the limitations right now. These tests were done on smaller models, and we don't know for sure how well this is going to scale up to the absolute behemoths we have today. It's also still vulnerable to something called an in-context attack. That's where a user can just paste the dangerous info right into the prompt. I mean, this technique removes the AI's long-term memory. It doesn't stop it from reading what's right in front of it. And that's exactly why the authors themselves really stress that SGTM is not meant to be a standalone fix. The real goal here is what's called defense in depth. You use this amazing new surgical tool, but you use it alongside all the other safety measures, like filtering inputs and monitoring outputs, to create the strongest possible shield. And all this leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. This technology gives us a level of control over an AI's knowledge that we've never had before. But does performing this kind of AI brain surgery mean we can finally achieve a truly safe AI? Or does it just change our whole understanding of what it even means for a machine to know something at all? It's a lot to think about. Thanks for tuning in.